Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you the latest news on Paul Pogba. So Paul Pogba speaks out on his Manchester United future for the first time since Mini Riola's comments. Now this is what Paul Pogba has said. I've always fought and will always fight for Manchester United, my teammates and the fans. Blah blah is not important. The future is far today is what matters, and I'm 1000% involved. Always strong together. Always has been clear between the club and myself, and that will never change. When you don't know what's going on inside, don't talk. So yeah, this is what Paul Pogba has said. Now, earlier on this week, his agent Mini Riola came out and said that Paul Pogba's time at Manchester United is over. He said that he's got no intentions of signing a new contract, and he said that he's unhappy, and he said that he has to leave. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually had conversations with Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer said that he's focused on the club. And I heard that Juventus are eyeing a loan deal for Paul Pogba in January. Now, if Paul Pogba does go back to Juventus, there's a good chance we could get Paulo Dybala as part of the deal. There's a good chance we could get Cristiano Ronaldo as part of the deal. Maybe we could even get Matthijs de Ligt as part of the deal. Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus, but the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. He hadn't only been linked to a move to Juventus. Obviously Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. Earlier on this season, don't forget he made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Now, we have lowered our asking price for him. It said we will accept as low as £50 million. Now, Pogba is into his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus. He scored 35 goals in 172 games. He's won 3 trophies at the club, and that was the Europa League, the Community Shield and the EFL Cup. He did endure a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but so too did all our top players. And we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. He is our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. To Paul Pogba's credit though, he has done well recently. He started the game yesterday against Man City. I thought he had some good moments in the game. He had a couple of shaky moments. He made an impact when he came on against RB Leipzig. Obviously got his name on the score sheet. He scored the other week against West Ham. That game against West Ham was his first start in the Premier League for over a month. Because don't forget, Paul Pogba did have an ankle injury earlier on this season. Ollie did confirm though that that ankle injury was totally contrast to the one that he had last season. Now, during the last international break, like I've updated you a lot, Paul Pogba did make quite a few comments saying like this season's been the most difficult period in his career. And he was saying like playing for France is a breath of fresh air. And in general, he was talking about his Man United struggles this season. But reflect on them comments, he did receive a lot of criticism. And Didier Deschamps, the France manager, was talking a lot about Paul Pogba, saying that obviously he cannot be happy with his situation at Man United for being left on the bench and for playing out of position. And he was saying like he understands Paul Pogba better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We did trigger that 1 year extension on his contract earlier on in the season, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Obviously, we want to cash in for him, won't want to let him go on a free transfer. He did actually say earlier on this season that, Pogba's intending on leaving the club on a free transfer. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, as you all know, Manchester United drew 0-0 with Manchester City yesterday. Are you happy with the draw? Some Man United fans will be happy with the draw. Some Man United fans will be disappointed. I wanted Manchester United to obviously win the game. Yesterday's game was the 183rd Manchester derby. I just thought it was a poor game. We had some good moments in the game. Bruno Fernandes had a couple of shots from the edge of the box. I think McTominay also had one. Rashford had some chances. I thought Rashford enjoyed a poor game yesterday, though, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. He didn't really seem to have that end product. The best chance of the game were from Riyad Mahrez. I think that was the only real clear-cut chance. It was a good save, though, from David De Gea, so I've got to give him credit. Kevin De Bruyne, he had a few half chances as well, didn't he? I thought Fernandinho had a pretty good game for City. John Stones had a pretty good game for them. I think Gabriel Jesus also had a half chance in the game. So too did Raheem Sterling. He looked dangerous for Man City. Obviously, we could have had a penalty because obviously Kyle Walker fouled Marcus Rashford. But VAR overturned that. And our home form continues to be poor. We've only won one game at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. That was the 1-0 win against West Brom. 2 games in all competitions because we did beat RB Leipzig by 5-0 at Old Trafford. But Manchester City, they are a good team. They have been in form as well recently because prior to the game against us, they beat Marseille 3-0. The other week they beat Fulham 2-0 and the other week they beat Burnley 5-0. And City, have got one of the best managers in the world in Pep Guardiola. Guardiola's been at City now for a good 4 years or so. City appointed him in 2016. So far at City, he's won 2 Premier League titles. He's won the FA Cup, he's won a few League Cups, and he's also won the Charity Shield. Earlier on this season, he signed a 2-year contract with Man City. A few seasons ago, City won the domestic treble, didn't they? So they replicated what we did back in 1999. They became the first team in a Premier League season to get 100 points, Man City. They did win the title under Manuel Pellegrini, and they also won it under Roberto Mancini. When they won it under Roberto Mancini, that was their first title in 44 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did give his perception on the game, and he said, these signs of improvement at Man United. But he was saying prior to the game against City that Man United are getting better and better. But we beat Manchester City 3 times out of the 4 times we played them last season. We're beating them at Old Trafford 2-0. We're beating them at the Etihad 2-1 in the league, and we're beating them in the League Cup second leg 1-0. Obviously, that wasn't enough to go through though, because we was 3-1 down from the first leg. Some people think, if there was fans in the ground, then maybe it would be a totally different game. Because obviously, fans not being at games, I think it is having an impact on, the players and all of that, because there's no one there behind them. Our next game is Sheffield United. Now, Manchester United should be winning that game. Sheffield United have been very, very poor this season. They haven't even won a game yet in the Premier League this season. They're sitting bottom of the league. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, because Sheffield United did very, very well last season. Where did they finish last season? Was it like 8th or 9th? Chris Wilder, he's been at Sheffield United now for a good 4 years or so. I think he'll end up getting sacked. Before he was at Sheffield United, I think he was at Oxford, wasn't he? Or was it Northampton? He has been at Oxford before. He's also managed Halifax and Alfred Town. The game at Bramall Lane last season was 3-3. And we actually overcame a 2-goal deficit, because we was 2-0 down at one point. We beat them at home though by 3-0 last season. Anthony Martial has got that hat-trick. After Sheffield United, we've got Leeds. I'm hopeful we can win that. It's going to be the first meeting between Man United and Leeds in the Premier League since 2004. The old rivalry's back. After Leeds, it's Everton in the Carabao Cup. That's going to be a pretty tough game. And then after that, it's Leicester. So games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. If we'd have lost that game against Manchester City yesterday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would still not have been sacked as Manchester United manager, because Ed Woodward confirmed that. Ed Woodward's confirmed that he's still fully behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Ed Woodward's come out several times to support Solskjaer. Now, I think the main explanation why Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend, and reflecting on that, our board have softened their stance on him. But disregarding him being a club legend, I don't think he'd have been manager of Manchester United now. Solskjaer is not the manager to lead the club to long-term success. I just think that he's way out of his depth at the club. A lot of his decision making concerns me. And he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. And I just think Man United need a manager in with a proven pedigree, and we need a manager in who would suit the strappings of the club. Now, obviously, Mauricio Pochettino has been linked with a managerial role at Man United. Now, he did recently say that Mauricio Pochettino would take the Man United job right now if it was offered to him. Pochettino's been linked with a few clubs. He's obviously been linked with Real Madrid. He's been linked with Zenit St. Petersburg. He's been linked with Barcelona. Manchester City have been in for him before. I think Benfica were also in for him at one point. Newcastle were in for him before as well. But he has been managerless now for over a year. And Pochettino said on Monday Night Football earlier on this season that he's missing football and he's ready for a return to management. And the Manchester Evening News said earlier on this season that we have approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager. I think Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer because he's well Premier League proven, his philosophy is good, and he's dealt with top players. My only element of concern about Pochettino, he hasn't won anything in terms of silverware. He's managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. That was Espanyol, Southampton and Tottenham. He did enjoy a good 5.5 years with Tottenham. He guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year. He got them to the League Cup final. He guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals. And he was good at Southampton because he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League era. Now, Massimiliano Allegri, he's been in our agenda a few times. Julian Nagelsmann a few weeks ago was on our agenda. Reports from Germany recently said that we could go in for Thomas Tuchel. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will still be Manchester United manager in the new year. He could still be Man United manager at the end of this season. You know, some Man United fans think, you know, if he's going to be sacked, you know, he'll be sacked next summer. Now, it's good that we are making plans for next year, because obviously next year we are looking to make more signings. Obviously there has been a lot of players on our agenda. Obviously we're looking to get rid of more players next year because there is still deadwood in the squad. I think next year we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard, Phil Jones, Marcus Rojo, Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero is obviously now our third choice goalkeeper. I think Matic could leave next year as well. Pogba's, I think he'll leave next year. You know, Mata, could he leave next year? Could Daniel James leave next year? Because Daniel James has lost his place in the team. And he has been out of form when he has played. You know, earlier on this season, there was rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan in January. There was also rumours of Dean Henderson going out on loan. I think Manchester United need a centre-half and a right winger. They are the 2 priorities. We need to get a title-winning squad because we haven't had a title-winning squad for the last 6 years or something like that, and this is actually stemming from Gary Neville. You know, Solskjaer's actually recently said that Man United can win the Premier League. We certainly won't win the Premier League this season. But like I've said, if we could finish in the top 4 this season, and if we could win a trophy, that would represent a very good season for Man United. Then that would give us something to build on. I think there's a good chance we could win a trophy this season. Maybe we could win the Carabao Cup, win into the quarterfinals of that. We've got Everton, you know, we could win the FA Cup. But now we're going to find it hard to get the players that we want in January and that, because obviously we're no longer in the Champions League, and obviously players to the top level want to be in Champions League football. You know, Ole Solskjaer's been in charge of Manchester United now for almost 2 years. It's nearly now his 2-year anniversary at the club. This is his second full season at Manchester United. Ole has got a contract with the football club until 2022. I'm very, very sceptical that I will see out his contract at the football club. He was discussing his contract situation the other week, and he actually said that a new contract is not his priority at the moment. His priority is leading the club to long-term success, and he did mention that the team are going places under his guidance. It's not assured that will extend his stay anywhere, but I think he's more than halfway through his 3-year deal. He signed a 3-year deal when he got the job permanently in March last year. Don't get me wrong, Solskjaer has got to identify his best 11 at the club, because I don't think he knows his best 11. He's also got to select the right formation. Obviously, he's had to solve the Paul Pogba issue. I think he's made his goalkeeping decision. David De Gea is going to remain our number one for this present time. Could remain number one for the rest of this season, but there has been a lot of Man United fans saying now Dean Henderson should be made as number one. Ole Solskjaer did well in his first full season last season because he got us qualification for the Champions League. Also got us third and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. He's made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million since he came in. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of this year, he brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri, Edison Cavani and Amad Traore. Amad Traore should be joining the football club in January. Ole hopes he will obtain a work permit. He's also brought quite a few young players in, so I like the way he has promoted the youth. We've enjoyed good periods under Ole. We have seen a lot of players depart the club since he got recommended in. So there is positive to take from his tenure. There's not all negativity regarding Solskjaer. And away from home, we've done well as well. We've won our last 9 away games in a row in the league, which is good. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League since January. So there you go. It's just our home form that's a concern, because we have been enjoying our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. But in the last 8 years, Man United have been inconsistent. Obviously we sat 3 managers since Ferguson left, and that was Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. We've only won 4 trophies since he left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Mourinho. We've spent over £1 billion on players since Ferguson left, and people will say, reflect on the money we've spent, we should be much more of a commanding position than we are in. But like I said, I think Solskjaer has been facing the same problem as what Jose Mourinho was facing, because when it comes to transfers, our board seemed to be clueless, and Mourinho made it clear to our board in the summer of 2018 that he wanted a centre-half, and obviously Mourinho never got that centre-half in. That's one of the main explanations it didn't work under Mourinho. There's obviously other reasons as well. Obviously, he had bad disputes with the board in general, and he had bad disputes with our top players. And I've got to say, we did appoint Mourinho in too late. These good players at Manchester United, like I've said so many times. I think Marcus Rashford's very, very good player. He's enjoyed a couple of bad games this season. He weren't so good against Man City yesterday. He was obviously playing centrally. He weren't so good against West Brom, but in that game against West Brom, he wasn't fully fit because he'd just come back from a shoulder problem. I think Bruno Fernandes is very, very good. I thought he was quite good yesterday against City. Certainly weren't his best game in a Man United shirt, but he did okay. He had some good touches and that. But in most of Bruno Fernandes' games, he has been consistent. There's only been the odd couple of games where he has looked off the pace. I think Bruno Fernandes' worst game in a Manchester United shirt was the game in Turkey against Istanbul Başakşehir when we lost 2-1. Because he was dispossessed like 34 times in that game. Fernandes has enjoyed almost a year now at Manchester United, and he's won Player of the Month a few times. He recently won it for November. He's scored a lot of goals and he's provided assists. Let's be honest though, the vast majority of his goals have come from the penalty spot. I think he has created more chances than any other player in the Premier League this season. We paid £47 million for him from Sporting Lisbon back in January. But he is the best signing we've made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. He's made a difference in the team. Disregarding Bruno Fernandes, we'd be in a worse position than we are in. Donny van de Beek, I think he's also a good player. I was surprised Donny van de Beek didn't play any part yesterday against Man City. I thought he might have been involved, Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek, though, came on against RB Leipzig. As soon as he came on against RB Leipzig, Ollie reverted to a back four, and he started the other week against West Ham, and that was his second start in the Premier League for Man United, Donny van de Beek's. When we've been playing him recently, he has been playing in that deeper role, but that's where he's more effective. But Van de Beek can play in like 3 different roles, can't he? Now, I think Fred's a good player. He's enjoyed good games this season. I've got to say, Fred was good yesterday against Manchester City. He had good moments in the game. I thought defensively he was good. He passed the ball well at times. He's had a few bad games this season. Fred's been at the club now for a few years. He didn't play any part against RB Leipzig because obviously he was suspended. He got sent off in our 3-1 defeat to PSG because he did receive 2 yellow cards, and he didn't play against West Ham the other week. We paid £47 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. I think Paul Pogba's also good when he wants to be. I think Mason Greenwood's also very, very good. He has still got a lot of development in him. I don't think he was brilliant yesterday, though, against Man City. He was quite good against Leipzig. He was good the other week against West Ham. Got his name on the score sheet. Greenwood's obviously had personal issues this season. He's had injuries. Obviously, he had illness at one point as well. Solskjaer has been defending Greenwood a lot, though, this season. Don't forget the start of this season, we're giving that number 11 shirt, and this is his second season in our senior squad. I think Luke Shaw's a good player when he wants to be. Luke Shaw was good yesterday against Man City. His deliveries from them corners were very, very good. And I thought he kept City's winners very, very quiet in the game. He's just come back from a hamstring problem. Luke Shaw, though, was very poor against RB Leipzig. My only element of concern about him, he is injury prone. He's enjoyed a good 6 years or so now at Man United. We paid £30 million for him from Southampton back in 2014. Harry Maguire, he's also good when he wants to be. He weren't bad yesterday against City. He weren't brilliant. I thought Harry Maguire obviously made 2 good blocks from Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling. He did look off the pace at times, looked a bit shaky at the back. But in the games he's played well in Maguire, he's looked very effective in the air. He showed that ability to play out from the back and that. My element of concern about him is that he's too slow and he does make mistakes. He certainly wasn't worth the £80 million that we paid for him. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and he is our current captain, Maguire. Now, Victor Lindelof's good when he wants to be as well. My element of concern about Lindelof, though, is too slow and he's not on the same level as Harry Maguire. So we need to get a centre-half in who's on the same level as Harry Maguire, don't we? I think Wan-Bissaka's also very, very good. He weren't brilliant yesterday, though, was he? I thought he was caught out by Jesus and Raheem Sterling. He does get exposed a lot in games, does Bissaka, but in the games he's played well and he can show some good attacking intent. He can get in decent positions. He can put good crosses into the box and that. We have got our reservations about him. This is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019. Alex Telles, I think, he's enjoyed a good start to his Man United career. He didn't play any part against City yesterday. I actually thought he'd started ahead of Luke Shaw. Telles, though, was poor against RB Leipzig. That was his first poor game as a Manchester United player. We got him in a deal worth £15.4 million, with add-ons included. Edison Cavani, I think he's good and he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. Cavani's currently out with a muscle problem at the moment. That's why he didn't play any part against Manchester City yesterday. And Anthony Martial, I think he's also good when he wants to be, but he's just been out of form this season, Anthony Martial. He just hasn't been clinical enough. He didn't start yesterday, but he did come on. That was the only substitution that we had made in the game. So we have got good players. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.